Hey guys, Duke Delate here for another episode of Pickup Daily. We're here in the Los Padres open space in golden hour, which is great for the light, but not for the mosquitoes in my ear. Anyways, I'm answering a question from the List of Glory today that says, how can I understand or wrap my mind around cheating? Talk about cheating, talk about motivations of people, loneliness, and a bunch of other related stuff on this episode of Pickup Daily. How can I wrap my mind around cheating? Wow. That's a big, giant subject, and I don't think we have time for a big, long manifesto of this thing. But just understand that people are always going to look out for themselves, okay? You and I may be very different, where I consider myself very gracious, very giving, very loving, very, sacrificial almost, where when I'm in a relationship, I try my best to get the other person to have the best time with the best that I can provide. But if I say that, I can say that in one breath, and then in the next breath, whine and complain about how the other person is not providing for me and that the relationship is imbalanced. And then it makes me want to give less, right? That's kind of just how humans work, right? You can just say in your idealistic worldview that you're completely selfless and you will never, ever take advantage of somebody else, and you're never going to be feeling want and need and never going to have to act on that. But that's false. We are all self-interested. We all get into relationships, maintain our relationships due to our self-interest. If you want an interesting view on love, check out, I'll link it below. There's a rabbi, he was talking about giving ourselves to another person and then appreciating the self in the other person. I thought it was pretty cool. I'll link that below. But we're in it for us. If our partner doesn't give us what we need, we very quickly look elsewhere to get those needs met. Now, I'm not going to talk about the ethical right or wrong of cheating, but the core of cheating is not necessarily sex. It's not necessarily making out with somebody or sharing your time with somebody. The core of cheating is lying. The bad part of cheating is not being able to agree with your partner that you're going to do something or do or not do something, and then you go ahead and do it anyway or not do it anyway, right? Like, if you tell your partner you're not going to have sex with somebody else and then you do, you just lied. And you've created a sense of betrayal that was supposed to be in a safe space. Now, with the right or wrong of all of that, whatever. People do what they do, and if you want to hold yourself to a high standard, then please do so. But that's really up to you. To judge other people for their behavior is not. It's not that simple. You see, a woman, when she's in a relationship with you, wants to get her needs met. And she's usually very verbose about communicating those needs in one way or the other. Not everybody is the best communicator, and not everybody can convey their feelings in real time. And sometimes they take a little time to process or whatever. But over the course of a relationship, if you're listening, you should be able to intuit what's going on in her mind, what she needs. And it's when we start ignoring those needs and when we start idealizing what she should be about and what she should need from us and what we're going to give to them. That's when we give them an impetus to go look elsewhere for getting her needs met, right? I'm not saying that if somebody cheats on you, it's necessarily your fault. However, if you don't see the signs coming, then you probably have a dissonance in your communication with your partner. So, to wrap your mind around cheating, it's basically like this. Look, she wants to get her needs met, and she may or may not be completely all in sharing her vulnerabilities and her trust issues and everything with you. That's just the nature of human communication. In an ideal world, we're going to love to open up completely to somebody else and trust them with our most vulnerable secrets, and then allow them to trust us with their most vulnerable secrets, and it that's how it should be ideally. But That is very rarely the case in the real world. We hold back, we try to manipulate, we try to control, we try to paint a better picture than it is. Sometimes we lie to ourselves, and then through that lie to other people about who we are. And that's just kind of the ups and downs of human communication. And so when two people are at an impasse in that communication, aren't able to understand each other, aren't able to understand somebody else's perspective from their own reference experiences, they can't put themselves in that place, then they're going to go look to get their needs met elsewhere. And the thing is that whether the relationship is over first or it's not, it doesn't really matter. They're moving on without you. Now, you might still provide some sort of resources, some sort of emotional structure, your friendship, your whatever, that she might still want to be involved with. She just doesn't want to be involved with the entirety of the relationship. And that's a very difficult thing to communicate back and forth. So a lot of people, rather than dealing with an issue directly, will just sort of wait till it becomes too big of a problem to ignore, and then deal with it then. They kind of put it off till later and procrastinate, because if they don't have to deal with it right now, then it's going to stress them out a lot less. I got a buddy who was like, his tooth was falling apart, and it wasn't a problem until it started hurting and he needed a fucking root canal before he actually went to the dentist and got it fixed, right? And that happens to a lot of people. They, if they're feeling the brake light comes on in the car, they don't get it fixed until it starts squeaking. The tire things comes on low and they don't get it fixed until they get a blowout or something. They just kind of put it off, and they don't prepare for the future breakdown of the relationship. And in a very similar way, people will just sort of let the relationship take its own natural course while they're off trying to get their needs met from somebody else, and like covering themselves up with their own self-care clouds, and like walling off from the actual communication that may fix the relationship. They avoid that stuff because they just let the relationship sort of end on its own. And a lot of times that comes with betrayal and cheating and just falling out of love and not being willing to work at it anymore. And maybe that'll help you understand why that happens, because people are just generally lazy. They don't want to deal with the communication issues right in front of their faces, and then they let the relationship sort of take its course and let their emotions run their end game. I'm Duke DeLate, and I answer questions like this every damn day on Pickup Daily. So, until tomorrow, stay awesome.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading.